Hello, welcome. This is going to be a quick introduction to AS Notes. AS Notes is a Visual Studio Code extension which turns Visual Studio Code into a notes application or a personal knowledge management system. It has at its core it has markdown text editing capability and also some productivity tooling such as search, daily journaling, a Kanban board, and also task management, which I will go through briefly in a moment. So to demonstrate quickly that what we have is essentially a plain markdown file, but AS Notes adds wikilink support. If I was to add a wikilink to my markdown file, you can see that opening the square brackets will bring up autocomplete, and then I can then start to navigate through the pages available in my knowledge base. So I'm going to select aloe vera here. As you can see, the results were filtered down as I started to type in the wiki link. Aliases are also supported for the pages, and the pages do not have to physically exist in the knowledge base for wiki linking to be available for a concept. In the case of the aloe vera page, we can navigate through to here. We already have a page existing for this. If I was to create a new plant note, now this page does not exist yet. We're still able to type the wiki link, and we're still able to reference the wiki link immediately after. If we were to click through to it, we see in the hover menu that the page will be created. So I'm going to control click through here, and then we can start writing our notes about new plants. So what you're seeing here is basic markdown, but by default we do have available to you a inline markdown editor and styling function. So if I was to switch that on now that the markdown is styled according to basic headings and other markdown styling characters, and so what also comes with this is Mermaid.js rendering and LaTeX math rendering as well. So this is the markdown editor in inline markdown styling mode. So what it also has is the option of writing plain markdown. I'll just toggle the inline editor styling off for this demonstration initially. It also has the flexibility to work in both plain markdown formatting or a outliner mode, which is similar to the way that logsec or Roam Research might work. Providing that the outliner mode is on, let's disable it, let's enable it again. Then when you start a block with a bullet, you will start to see outliner mode behaviors. We can tab the bullet in and out, and when you tab indent parent outline blocks, then you'll see that child blocks are dragged with it as you would see in logsec or Obsidian. It also supports fence code blocks with a clamping to the appropriate margin position when you're in outliner mode. Again, if I control enter, then I can escape outliner mode and just go back to writing normal markdown. So you have the flexibility within the same document to work in plain markdown or with this outliner editing mode. Backlinks are available for the page. So if I was to, let's go to a page on Stera. As you can see here, I'm just using plain Visual Studio file navigation. We also have search available in the sidebar as well, which is specific to the AS Notes application. The Monstera file hasn't actually been created yet, so we're going to opt to create that file. When we use Control-Alt-B, we can open our Monstera backlinks page, and this will show us everywhere in our knowledge base that we have referenced the Monstera. So there's a journal entry. Here is an entry in caring for our plants, which is the document that we were on just a moment ago. Let's tidy that up. There's a couple of options in how you view the backlinks page. It can be compact, so you just see references that allow you to navigate to the page and the position in the page where the mention exists, or it can be more verbose and it can show some contextual text around the backlink as well. You also have the option of a flat layout or a grouped layout, which will group the backlinks according to the path to the backlink. So here you can see we have different routes to the Monstera page, and the backlinks are grouped accordingly. So other main features, task management. In the sidebar here, we can collapse down panes that we're not using. We have a task view, and we also have prioritization and other statuses available for those tasks. So if I was to create a new task here, this is going to be a Control-Shift-Enter to create a standard markdown checkbox stroke task. We're going to add a task for completing this demo. So if I use Shift Control Enter again, we will cycle through the states available for tasks. As you can see, that updates. Let me I'm going to set the priority so it appears a little higher in the list. So we've got / commands available in AS Notes for quickly setting options here. So we're going to type P1. So this is a priority 1 task, and let's mark that as to do. It appears back in our task editor. There we go. So here we've got the complete and demo task in the task view, and I'm going to actually mark this as done from the task view here, and you will see that it's also marked as done in the file there. So if we undo that, then we can also set other statuses. So we have task, let's have task waiting. So I've marked that task as something that I'm waiting on. We can also set a due date as well. So if I set a due date, then we'll see another dialog, which gives me a date input where I can set a validated date in the future. We can also set completed dates. Depending on the options that you've set, we have some filtering options here in the task view, so you can arrange them by page, priority, due date, or completion date if you want to look at the things that you've done. You can also toggle between to do only or all tasks, or you can toggle to tasks that you're waiting on as well. So that's the task view. For larger projects, we've got a built-in Kanban board. So for longer running tasks that you might want to add and edit detail for, we can view these on let me just get rid of my backlinks view here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so here we've got a Kanban board with some lanes, so we can configure the lanes as we need to. If we need to add a test lane here, we can add a test lane, and we can drag that to the appropriate position on the Kanban board. And we can move our tasks between these lanes, as you would expect for a Kanban board. If you open up the task, then you can see that we have labels available, we have due dates available, we have priority available. These are the same priorities that are available for the actual standard tasks as well. We can set a test description here. The actual Kanban files are plain markdown files, and you can then edit those files and reference notes in the Kanban task as you would in any other markdown file in AS Notes. Moving on from here, we have the daily journaling. So we've got a calendar view here, which allows us to navigate between different journal entries. In addition to journaling, we also have templating available to us. There's a templates directory under which the templates are configured. You have a number of placeholders that you can use within your templates. So if I was to demonstrate this by selecting a template, if I use the / command for templates, I can then select my placeholder demo template, which is basically just going to show all of the placeholders available. And based on the placeholders, you can see some text has been generated from that template. If I show you what the actual template itself looks like, then you can see these are the placeholders that are available to you when creating templates. So going back to other productivity features, as we demonstrated earlier on, we do have caring for your plants. There we are. So let's toggle our inline editor, styling on again. And as you can see, we've got mermaid rendering. I think we have a page specifically for inline editor testing. Yeah, so here we go. So here we can see mermaid diagramming, and we can see the latex rendering as well. So to inline editor styling mode, you can still click to edit the underlying text as well. AS Notes also comes with features for formatting tables as well. So if we demonstrate this in plain text mode, let's say I want to add a new column. Let's format the column first because we've got a helper for that. So we're going to say a table format, and you can see that in plain markdown, that command has helped to normalize our table. We can now add a new, let's add a new column. So table, add columns. We see a dialog which asks us how many columns we want to add, and it's going to add them relative to the current cursor position. So I think that's a good overview of the core features of AS Notes. Please feel free to get in touch if you have any further questions about what AS Notes can do. Otherwise, thank you for watching.